So my thing is to embrace all religions that embrace, because ultimately it's about truth and love. Yeah. Every religion will agree that their religion is about truth and love. The distortions I don't embrace. And when they say something that could bring harm to another person or to themselves or anybody, anything that's dangerous or whatever, anything that's negative, we don't embrace that. So I don't embrace that. But whatever is good, whatever is truth, whatever is about love, that's what I wholeheartedly embrace. That's why I refer to myself as a gypsy.
Bless this soil, bless this earth, blessed with rhymes.
Controversial, I'm political, somewhat subliminal, philanthropic, non-conformist, so I'm criminal. I'm a criminal.
Did you hurt me? Don't be scared, see. When it all goes down, I'll be there.
There he is, IronE Singleton, still with us.
Drop that load, pack your dreams, and fly high with me.
We do.
We only have 20 minutes.
We got part two. There's always a part two, y'all.
There's a part two. So I asked her, I said, you believe in a higher power? She said, yes. I said, do you believe in karma? Like, yes. Okay, so what goes around comes around. I said, so if you lie, then that's got to come back to you. That energy you put out there has to come back to you. You agree with that? I said, yes. I said, so she believes in all the tenets of Christianity and all of the tenets that are good of other religions, like thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not, cheat, thou shalt not disrespect thy neighbor, all the tenets, all the commandments or whatever. Thou shalt not gossip, about anybody else, and not put exactly like that in the Bible. But she believes in everything. She just did not at that time, and maybe later on she will, I don't know, we'll see. But she didn't want to refer to that power as God. And I'm like, but that's what society refers to it as. She understands the sexism that plays into it, because we constantly say, God is a he, him, he, him. And when I pictured the God that was there for me in my time of need, in my time of dire need and depression and anger and so many other things that I was going through, I didn't picture a man. I didn't picture a man. I didn't picture a human being. It was a spirit that was so much bigger than that. Although I did picture a woman at one point. I did. That's another story when I drove to California. When I drove to California and back. But that's another story. If y'all want that story, then that'll take at least 20 minutes. But that was an epiphany I had driving back from California 2000, 2001. Very powerful, telling me about the existence of God as being a woman. And because when you think of God, you think of forgiveness, kindness, all of those attributes that are pious, that seem to be connected with God. I think of a woman, but that's another story though. And y'all can request that if you want to. So after I said that to her, she received it. She just didn't say, okay, well, yes, I believe in God, but I feel she does. And I came up with the title before I left for Los Angeles in 2000, because I said God is about truth and love, which is the reason why that is what we embrace. That's our mantra, truth and love, being truthful and loving to everybody we meet.
That's right.
Everybody we come into contact with, respect everybody. It's just very plain and simple as that. Truth and love. And we raise our children to be that way. And so the thing about it is that, okay, if you go to church, but you don't practice the truth and love, and you leave church and you talk about people, you gossip, disrespect people, curse people out, you go sit on your 8-ball, meaning that's some dope, or you go rob somebody, it's like it's a contradiction. It's a contradiction. So I just think that it's better to live by those tenets than to go to church and say I'm a Christian or whatever and live the opposite of how a Christian is supposed to live, or
Well, yeah, and I think that the ultimate thing for me, I expect that it's the same for you, is mostly beyond anything else, caring about what God thinks and not what people think or what human beings think. And back to the notion of fearing God, there is no fear because there's total trust and there's total relinquishment of my life. I trust my life fully and wholeheartedly in God's hands. And when you are doing your best, to the best of your ability, to be the best person that you can, trying to, make sure that whenever there is something that you feel that's wrong, that your conscience tell you that's wrong, you're modifying it because you know that that's what God would want. Then for me, everything else falls into place. Yeah. And so there is no reason for fear. There is no need to worry about what others are feeling or thinking. It's just a matter of, and in terms of your belief system, that is, I do care what people feel and what people believe. And that's another conversation, another topic for discussion. I do care about how people feel about what I deliver, the energy that I deliver to them. And so it is important for me that I am doing my best to make sure that I am delivering and giving off the positive energy and the loving energy that I think that everybody deserves. And if I don't, and if I'm made aware of that, I try to make modifications. If I feel that I can't make modifications after I've tried, I try to just keep distance because that person's not ready to receive what I have to offer.
And she practices that religiously, except for when I get on her nerves. So we
don't practice it there.
There are exceptions in the household. There are household exceptions.
There are some exceptions there.
The fingers like this. All right. So when people meet us out in public, we do our best to live by that philosophy. Give positive energy wherever we are, wherever we go, and to whomever we meet. And people tend to ask me occasionally, periodically, so you're how long have you been a Christian? Or you're a Christian and I appreciate what you're doing, as an actor, because you exalt God, and I take that as the ultimate compliment. That's a great compliment. They say, you're a Christian like I am, so how do you do it in the entertainment industry? It must be tough navigating. It's like, no, navigating the waters of showbiz. I said, no, not really. As long as you know who you are, then nobody else can establish that for you. You know who you are, you know who you live for, you know what you live for. It's hard for, say, a business to disrupt that. I live with purpose. Our focus is to live with purpose each and every single day of our lives. So I take that as the ultimate compliment when people refer to me as a Christian. In 2000, 2001, when I went to LA, I coined the term gypsy. Now, when you think about gypsy, just like I coined the term irony, which is my stage name. Irony meaning an eagle in flight with an unbroken spirit. Gypsy, Gypsy, meaning world traveler, person that just gets around everywhere. But it's an acronym for me, and when I say gypsy, I mean JIBC, meaning Judeo-Islamic Buddhist Christian. So I'm a Judeo-Islamic Buddhist Christian because in all of the religions that have come together or that have been separated or distinguished, it all came from the same place. It all came from a way of life, which from what I learned in college said Maya, where civilization began in Africa. We all practice just loving one another. We practice harmonious twinness. We practice being one with nature, being one with each other, of course, the world. And so when we all separated as a people, we started going in different directions throughout the world. then that's when religion took shape. I think we kind of, and we made it what we wanted to make it. And it seemed as though, to me, in my development, in my growing, it seemed as though that's where a lot of the vitriol started to take shape, when those religions started to separate, you know? And so my thing is to embrace all religions that embrace, because ultimately it's about truth and love. Yeah. Every religion will agree that their religion is about truth and love. The distortions I don't embrace. And when they say something that could bring harm to another person or to themselves or anybody, anything that's dangerous or whatever, anything that's negative, we don't embrace that. So I don't embrace that. But whatever is good, whatever is truth, whatever is about love, that's what I wholeheartedly embrace. That's why I refer to myself as a gypsy. But keep the Christianity label coming. That's cool too. I take it as the ultimate compliment. So thanks. Yeah.
Agreed. You know, as we were talking about all of this, the way my brain works.
Yeah, the way your brain works.
There were just, I saw myself over here with a notepad, like jotting down different things that we need to go back and touch on, because there's so many branches that can come from all of this. Like, you know, the talking about our daughter, that's where you started, you know, talking about her not embracing God or a particular religion. That whole notion of us giving her room to have that free thought and still embracing her with love and acceptance and understanding and patience, in terms of allowing her to come into her own belief and her own understanding of where she is in life and what she truly wants to embrace. I am thankful and I am grateful that she has embraced that there is a higher source, there is a higher being or a higher energy, a higher power that governs us all.
Yes.
You know, that for me alone is good enough, because she knows that it's not an individual thought that, or rather just a individual, a concept of individuality, but there is something that unites us on a larger scale, and there's something that governs our lives on a larger scale. So that makes me happy. But the notion of giving your kids an opportunity to develop into their own people, like I think, you know, parenting, that's one of the toughest things about parenting, especially when you have multiple kids. It's allowing them the room to really embrace who they are within means and along the guidelines of being respectful, and having discipline and structure, of course, and knowing that there are limitations with most things in life. So it's not an easy path or an easy tightrope to walk, but it's a necessary rope to walk, I think, because being too forceful or too aggressive or too involved in your children's thought process, I think, can be dangerous, because you have, you create this thinking that, or this mindset that that their beliefs or all of their beliefs are pretty much yours. And it may not be until much, much later on in life that they realize that I'm not really passionate about this, or I really don't fully believe this, or they don't really practice it fully, whatever it may be, or live it to its fullest, because they are not embracing it for themselves, but they're embracing it for someone else.
Right.
And so it could cause a lot of heartache. They can go down the wrong path for a way too long before they figure it out. And I think the most important thing is trying to help them to just stand. It's like teaching a baby to walk. You can't hold their hands through the whole process. Eventually, you got to stand them up, you got to kind of guide them, and you got to let them go and let them walk.
And I feel like that's worked for us. We just basically letting you know like what has worked for us. And I'm reassured every day that the decisions we made and how we raise our children were the right decisions and the way we handle things now. I mean, I feel good about it because I've never seen my children disrespect anyone, other people, other than my 4-year-old, our first child. She went to school and cut the girl's hair with scissors. But
I wish I would have had the whole story around that.
I know, I was the whole story, but
not like her.
yeah,
she was really. That was
we went off right here, huh?
Did we?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Un momento. All right, so we're back. God, let us know where we were. We were talking about raising the kids, and therefore, I am satisfied. You know, I'm satisfied because I've never seen my children disrespect anyone, blatantly disrespect someone. They are wonderful kids, even with their flaws, because they are children. They are human beings, like we all are. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't trade our kids for anyone else's. They are wonderful children, and we tell them that all the time. Yeah, I mean, they're great kids. So,
and we've had our share of whoopty whoops.
Yeah, we have.
But even with the whoopty whoops, I think that it was magnified because they've been seemingly great kids all of their lives, and they hadn't really gotten themselves involved into anything major. Thank God. You know, is this wood?
I don't know. So
yeah.
So hopefully, and so I feel good about that, and I think that the way we've been doing it is the way that we'll continue to do, even though they're about grown. But the rules pretty much stay the same. You know, we don't allow our children to, and not just disrespect their elders, but don't disrespect anybody. It's any of God's children. And that's how we've raised them from day one. Some of you may disagree, especially maybe perhaps devout Christians. I don't know. Don't take everything we said as the definite, because we've left some things open-ended. This is a 20 million hour conversation. So I don't instantly take offense to, because of course I think it's about the intent, and hopefully you'll read our intent as being genuinely loving and respectful, because that's what we want to do, but we still wanted to address that and touch on the surface. But if you have any issues or questions about that, then you can send those questions in, and we'll address. We may come back and do another show about it, because we can actually do plenty of shows about this. The show itself, Blunt Set Up for Walking Dead in the Raw, could be about this. We could do 50 episodes.
We could do, because like I said, I was thinking about having a notepad the whole while we were talking about you know, the branch about kids, the branch about you were talking about your drive to LA and your conversation. I had a conversation with God. God actually spoke to me in like a very clear and resounding voice. And it was the most powerful and the most touching thing that I've ever experienced in my life. Of course, that would be, right, for anyone. But I was awake. I wasn't on any narcotics or anything like that. No coffee, no caffeine. And it was real, y'all. It was real. So, and then, of course, there were many near-death moments also that helped ground me in my faith. Very near-death moments where I really shouldn't have been here, like probably about 4 times at least in my life. That I was spared. I was spared, and I feel that God's hands was all over it, because it just seemed it was miraculous, right? I mean, I experienced miracles, right?
You did experience
many times. So many things.
So don't take what you've heard today as the definite, as closed. It's not closed-ended. This is not done yet. So if you take offense to anything we've said, then we apologize for that. But this is our belief system. This is what we've used to help raise our children. And I feel like since we are satisfied with who our children are, who they've become, then I think that is a good thing for us. I think ultimately at the end of the day, that's what God wants. God wants us to be proud of our children, like he is proud of us.
Right. Yeah. And I think that, you know, most everything in life, my thing, and I always say this, I always talk about, everything within reason and balance, having balance. And so I think that when you listen to or watch something to help entertain or inspire your lives, you have to make sure that you filter everything you hear, everything you see, and that you take what is applicable for your life. And not just taking what's applicable because you want to filter out the things that are difficult to apply, even though you may feel that it's necessary to apply, but talking about filtering things that are not, that just don't work for your life or your situation. And everything doesn't fit for everybody. And that's what makes life so beautiful. And that's what, makes us all so unique, is that we span the gamut in terms of variations and what makes us who we are. And so it's important that you are very careful to selectively listen to and to selectively watch everything, and make sure that you're applying
definitely
what works.
Definitely, because we have family and friends that we want to say, "What are you doing? What are you doing with your? Why are you?" She's trying to be subtle about it, but on the inside, she's like, "Yes, ring that neck, ring it." But no, we question decisions that people make sometimes, and people may question our decisions, but we understand that is their life. We give suggestions when asked for, when it makes sense. If people come to us and ask us, then we don't intervene in their lives. That's their life. That's them. They have their household. We have our household, and that's one of the things that puzzles me, is that how some people try to run other people's households and how they try to dictate how they should raise their children. And we tend to stay out of that, even if we may have issues with something like that, but it's not our business. We can't, that's not our household. Every household is different. If it works for you, if it works for them, then that's fine. I mean, as long as everything is working out and everybody stays happy and nobody gets hurt, and I'm like, hey, good.
Right.
All right. But again, all right, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up because I think we're at like 40 minutes right now.
If not more.
So thank you so much for joining us. And ran out of time, Gary V, unfortunately. Maybe next show. All right, but we love you guys. And we want you all to love each other because it's free.
Is what it's all about. White picket fence, a couple of whips, a couple of chicks, a couple of flicks. I'm for sure the division of Moses was not really about keeping up with the Joneses. From me to you, you better know this, man. Let my people go. I'm eccentric.